6:30 Central tonight. We've given Roley the night off once again tonight. Tom Brannon, Nathan Scott joining you. Let's spend a little time talking about this wintry precipitation that's moving in, winter storm warning in effect. And just a programming note or two for you. At 8:30 tonight, we'll be streaming once again on THV 11 Plus. So we go from now to 7 o'clock on our main channel and Plus, and then again at 8:30. And by that time, we'll probably have something falling from the sky here in Little Rock.
Yeah, it's already begun in parts of the state.
It has, and to quote Nathan Scott, I love it. We might as well throw that timing page in the trash. It kind of started earlier than for some, but it's not heavy. It's just now coming together. And a great way to follow is with radar, live radar 24/7. If you have THV 11 Plus, you already have access to it, but you might want to move your shoulder. Okay, good. They're going to take a look at that QR code.
Just push me out of the way.
Just get out of the way. There you go. Right. So that's all I've got to say. I've been talking now for way too long. Nathan, you want to talk a little bit? What's going on out there? And I'll start with radar.
Well, I think the first thing to talk about, Tom, is we are at 32 degrees at Little Rock.
Okay.
And that happened at 6 o'clock. And we are going to stay below freezing most likely all the way until Tuesday afternoon. So we got moisture moving in, temperature 32 degrees. You see the precipitation shield spreading its way in here from Texas and the Red River Valley. And this is continuing to build its way towards central Arkansas. When we take a look at the types of precipitation, all the pretty colors tell a different story. So the green, that's rain. The pink, that's where you're most likely running into sleet, maybe some freezing rain, especially down towards South Arkansas. But we're seeing pops of blue into central Arkansas, and that could be some flurries or some light snow trying to make its way in. Looks like as close as parts of Saline County. And where you see that little pop of orange, that could be a little burst of maybe some modern snow right along the border of Montgomery County, Perry County, also Yell County. So this is all building its way off to the east and northeast. And here in central Arkansas, here in Little Rock, we are right on the edge of the blade when it comes to, do we see snow or do we see sleet? And the latest model information, Tom, has said it's most likely going to start off as snow here in Little Rock. And it could be a burst of some moderate, maybe heavy snow. And I think this is going to be our best time to get snowfall accumulation in Pulaski County for tonight. And then it switches over to sleet for the most part on your Saturday. So it's a mixed bag of precipitation. It's all about location, like what we said. A better chance of snow for you folks to the north of Little Rock, and it's going to be really heavy snow. We're going to have more on that snowfall forecast and sleet forecast and ice forecast coming up. But there you see the ice identifier, and this primarily says this is all falling in the form of sleet across Howard County, Pike County, Clark County, spreading its way into Hot Spring County, and then down towards Hampton, Camden. And that's just because the temperatures right at the surface may not be at freezing, but aloft, the temperatures are cold enough to support winter precipitation.
That's where we are now. It's certainly in southwest to west central Arkansas, at least the leading edge of the winter storm. But just in case you missed it earlier today, and we'll come back to radar here in a moment, we're going to just kind of freeform this and just talk about whatever. Nathan, most of the eastern half of the U.S. is under some kind of winter weather warning, whether it's a winter storm warning, an ice storm warning, winter weather advisories. This is a big, far-reaching winter storm.
I'm trying to think, when's the last time we had a map that looked like this with winter weather alerts stretching from New Mexico all the way to Maine? This is a big system. It's going to impact a lot of folks across the region. A lot of meteorologists are not going to have a weekend, including us.
Yeah, our weekend's been kind of altered, and that's fine. So are the crews. You know, they're out checking the roads. And tomorrow morning, the morning team is going to be in. They're going to be on from 6 to 10. They're going to stream tomorrow morning. I think that's something that we should also mention. And we'll cover all the programming notes in just a few minutes. But you're right. I don't remember the big snow of 21. My memory fails me. Was it your recall if it stretched that far?
I don't think it stretched that far.
It was a 1-2 punch.
Yeah,
that's
it was
a lot of
definitely
real
punch.
estate.
But Dallas right now is seeing rain. However, the Arctic air, you got high pressure right here, and Arctic air is shallow and it's heavy. So it has to go around obstacles such as the Ouachitas. So it's coming its way down into Oklahoma. It'll be making its way into Dallas through the overnight. So yeah, they're seeing rain right now, but it's going to change to freezing rain and sleet through the overnight. And then here in Arkansas, you can clearly see that Arctic air bleeding its way right down the delta of the Mississippi into East Arkansas, and it's moving from the northeast. And this is just something cool that meteorologists have to take into account because the mountains act as a barrier.
I'm going to pull this graphic up. Hopefully it will do so. We have these shows, and I've got this show loaded down, and everything's running kind of slow right now.
Has a lot of thinking
but
time.
I thought what I would do is support what he's saying, because I used it at 5 and 6 o'clock to illustrate that where that high pressure center is located, northeast winds are funneling that cold air. Give it a second. Hopefully it'll be up before we take a break.
It's not 32 in here.
The computer is right there. You go. Now you can illustrate what we're talking about. Yeah, there's that Arctic high. There's the Arctic boundary, and the wind around it out of the northeast. So it's kind of backdooring.
Yes.
It's going around the Ozarks and the Ouachitas, and it will eventually make its way into Texas.
Yeah, so it's pretty much split because it's making its way from Kansas, Oklahoma into northeast Texas, but it has to get around the Ouachitas and the Ozarks, so it takes the eastern side of the state, and then I've seen it get colder in Vicksburg, Mississippi before it gets colder here in Little Rock.
It's a similar, we'll talk about it after the break, I guess, but just real quick, similar situation over in the Appalachians that it backdoors on them as well.
Yeah.
And you've been a part of that before, and it makes it awfully difficult to forecast.
Any meteorologist in Atlanta, Greenville, South Carolina, it's called the CAD, or the cold air damming situation. Just because the Appalachians, they're 5,000, 6,000 feet. You got high pressure over New England, and you can see that happen. Meanwhile, on the western side of the Appalachians, I used to work in Northeast Tennessee, it was like 64 degrees, raining, and then travel 1 hour across the Appalachians into Boone, North Carolina, and it'd be 32 and snowing.
Yeah.
Meteorology is just fun.
It is. We're going to take a break, and we'll come back with more. We'll take a look at radar. We'll also go over accumulation possibilities. Stay tuned. There's a lot to talk about. Tracking a major winter storm now entering Arkansas, over southwest Arkansas. We've seen some precipitation this afternoon, and we'll get to the future radar here in a moment. But something we don't really do a whole lot whenever we're forecasting is show you the raw model data of what some of these models are saying, because they're so, as we've experienced this week with some of the iPhone apps, they get a little crazy, a little nutty there.
Yeah, earlier this week, a national outlet showed some raw data that produced 18 to 24 inches of snow across central Arkansas, and then the models really backed off on that. But here are several different models that we as meteorologists look at, and each model can have a certain bias. Maybe it's too cold, or maybe it's bringing in too much moisture. This is the fun that we have to deal with, ladies and gentlemen. So we're looking at the European. I'm not going to name every single model, but I'm just going to go through here and watch how it changes going through model to model, especially around central Arkansas. So this particular model, the European, is producing 4.6 inches of snow for Little Rock for this event. Conway, it's 7, and then Russellville, it's 12. Now let's go to something, the GFS, which is painting out crazy picture across Fort Smith, saying 2 feet of snow
buried for the next 3 weeks.
Just that little spot of Fort Smith, but Little Rock 8, and then Pine Bluff hardly anything. And that's just because the models are trying to figure out where is this dividing line between the heavy snow versus the heavy sleet. So this is why our job is very challenging with this winter storm event. This is the icon. Still, the heavy snow, there is a trend primarily in North Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas, and the totals really drop off once you get past Little Rock. This is the NAM.
The NAM?
Lower, much lower totals,
lower.
even for North Arkansas. And this is a different version of the NAM. Highest totals, Northwest Arkansas. But look at that line. 2.5 for Little Rock, and then you jump to 8.6 in Conway. That is the situation I think we're going to have, Tom. It's going to vary not just county by county, but within the county itself. You know, parts of Pulaski County, southern parts of Pulaski County may only see a trace of snow, and then northern parts of Pulaski County could easily see 5-6 inches of snow. And how do you put that on a map?
and you've got a 25-mile difference there between Little Rock and Conway for that to happen. And one more model. You got which?
I went through them, so
you're already through them.
We're
all?
good, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you take all that in consideration. Of course, you look for trends, and the trend is that Northwest and North Central Arkansas should receive the heaviest amount of snow. Now, do you want to go forth and kick out? Okay, well, we're going to go 18 to 25 inches. No, you're probably not going to see that, but you might. There might be one or two locations, especially the higher terrain, that typically pick up the heavier amounts of snow. The big challenge is what happens here. What do we, it's right here in the heart of Arkansas, what's going to happen here? So this is the graph. Graph and her, they've done a crappy job with the timing of this. There's no other way to describe it. It's just not good because it started a little bit earlier. So we're going to start with what the graph has to say at 8 o'clock. And by the way, the her and the graph are high-res models. They update more regularly, and we trust them. Although I do like the European. I have a European model bias, I have to admit. I do, because it seems to handle cold air and snow a little bit better than the other national models. Moving forward, when does it get to Central Arkansas? It could be here between, well, it's 6:43 right now. There's a good chance the snow is going to start in Little Rock, or precipitation anyway, before that. But the graph says by 10 o'clock, and overspreading the state by as early as, say, 6 o'clock in the morning. And this goes along the lines of what we're talking about.
We're right on that line.
Yeah, the heavy sleet and snow, heavy sleet with snow, or just heavy snow. Yeah, that's what we have to work with.
Yeah, and this is not going to be light snow. This is going to be a burst of moderate, maybe heavy snow. And if it's snowing an inch an hour, that can add up very quickly if you have that happen for 5-6 hours through the overnight.
Sure.
You get totals 6 to 8 inches into Faulkner County, and Pulaski County gets sleet. And saying, what happened?
It's winter weather forecasting is never cut and dry.
No.
Not just here, but anywhere. It's not easy. It's just every day. This week, you start back on the weekend, and you saw with the Euro and the GFS, they were actually pretty good alignment with this big wedge of snow through Central Arkansas, and then they start to diverge Tuesday, Wednesday, and that's where we are currently with this.
Models are not perfect.
Yeah.
They're used as guidance.
And the graph, by the way, does have us with a break tomorrow before the upper level system swings through here. It looks as if it could be a lot more sleet farther north.
Yeah, a surge of warm air moves in the upper parts of the atmosphere, or about 6,000, 10,000 feet. All the models are in agreement with that. So yes, we could see snow out there for Little Rock tonight, but it does switch over to sleet. It stays as sleet, and then on the backside of the system, it may change over to snow Sunday before it all exits. I think the snow on Sunday is going to be much more sporadic, because I think this system will get robbed of a lot of energy as storms fire up off to the east.
Okay. We'll take another break, come back, and we'll provide you with the latest thought on accumulations. All right. Hey, before we go on to talk about accumulation, we do have a little sleet or some snow falling in the garden. You could hear the sleet just a few moments ago, but let's take a look at Storm Track 11, Nathan.
Yeah, so looking at this color palette, this is saying it's supposed to be snow over Pulaski County into Saline County and stretching off to the west. So that purple area with the pink, this computer's thinking, okay, this is snow. It may or may not be right. It could be a combination of snow and sleet. If you're running into more sleet possibilities into the orange area, stretching from Montgomery County, Garland County, and over towards Grant County, and about to approach Jefferson County, and then just plain rain in the green as temperatures are above freezing into South Arkansas, Tom.
Yeah, that's holding steady there as well. This is a garden shot outside, and it's very light.
You got to squint.
Yeah, I was going to say squint. Even with those high definition 8K model televisions, you have to look closely. So there you go. With the time we have, let's review snow possibilities. We'll go through snow, sleet, freezing rain, and the totals. First of all, our snowfall forecast. Nathan, you did update this a little bit today, and you put Central Arkansas, Little Rock in more of a 1 to 4 inch range, and possibly even on the upper end 3 to 6 northern Pulaski.
So our highest confidence is going to be for South Arkansas, where there won't be any snow, most likely, because it's going to be more of a sleet, freezing rain event. Also, very high confidence in Northwest and North Arkansas, where you could easily see 10 to over 15 inches in some cases. Things get very murky right over Central Arkansas because, once again, we're right on that line of snow versus sleet. So this gradient could be very, very tight. It may be 1 to 4 right through Pulaski County, and then it could easily be 4 to 8 through all of Faulkner County. And there could be some locations get a burst of snow. I'm not going to be surprised if we get reports of 10 to 12 inches into parts of the Ouachitals and also especially into north central Arkansas. It is a tough forecast like what we've been saying.
Reminds me of you know, that on Facebook you have the relationship status. You've got high confidence, and right here in the middle it's complicated.
Yeah. And also remember, yes, we get snow. Sleet falls, it's going to compact that snow. So it's going to be pretty difficult to get a good reading unless you're going to be out 6 o'clock tomorrow morning trying to measure it.
We broadened the area of 2 to 4 inch sleet amounts.
We have. Yeah. You look at it, there's going to be a lot of moisture, and the profile of the temperature from the surface between the cloud, it is saying sleet. We got snow now, but it's going to be primarily a sleet event. Even into South Arkansas, we've upped the totals, maybe up to 2 inches of sleet because the situation between the sleet and freezing rain, still a real tough call, and then less sleet as you go farther north.
You get more snow and less sleet, and then in extreme South Arkansas, it's really more liquid, freezing rain, and there'll be some sleet mixed in on occasion. But this is this makes you cringe just a bit because there'll be some folks highly impacted by 3/4 of an inch to maybe more of freezing rain, an ice storm.
Yeah. You go outside, you see, oh, it's just raining, but you look at the temperature and it says 32 or lower than that, you've got some big problems because that's freezing rain and that's going to accrete or collect on power lines, on tree branches, on tree limbs. And once you get into 1/4 inch or more, then you start to have issues with power outages and trees coming down and branches coming down. And that is going to be a possibility for as close as Pine Bluff, but certainly Camden, El Dorado. We do have ice storm warnings in effect for Union County, Columbia County, Ashley County, and Chico counties. And there you see, we've got it painted 1/4 inch to as much as 3/4 inch. Hopefully they don't get 3/4 inch because that's going to be a crippling ice storm for those folks.
All right. So there are the amounts. We're going to take another quick break, come back. We'll review radar one more time before we send you to our programming. We're back tonight at 8:30 on THV 11 Plus as we track this winter storm across Arkansas.
We're wrapping up here, but we'll be back at 8:30 on THV 11 Plus with a weather stream, and we'll be streaming on THV 11 Plus several times over the weekend.
Here's a look at when we're planning to be live, but if we're not on live and when you want us, we've also got this 24/7 look at radar as things develop on THV 11 Plus. You can track the weather anytime that you need it. We showed you earlier tonight. It's 24/7 live, and it's part of THV 11 Plus, and it's great. You can take a look at radar along with us.
And we want to know what's happening in your neighborhood. 501-376-1111. You can also let us know on our Facebook page. Be sure to include your location.
One final look at radar there as precipitation's overspreading from southwest to northeast. Y'all have a safe night out there tonight. We will see you at 8:30.